What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the latest episode of Life After Strange right here on Player One versus the World. And we started this series off with Max and Hannah Telle. And we once again return to Max, but we go to the motion capture side and with the wonderfully talented actor that brought her to life, Serena de Mouroux-Phelan. Serena, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. And I'm glad that I didn't butcher your last name as well, because I did rehearse that before we started the show as well. I just didn't want to mess that up.
No problem. You got it. Okay, it's fine.
Oh, thank you. So, I've spoken to Gabriella before we've done this as well. So I've done Chloe's motion capture and we're now on yours. And what I found with Gabriella as well, her background growing up was very, it's quite similar to yours, but a bit different in terms of you were born in France, then you lived in the US, now you're back in France, living in Paris. What's it been like, your experience living in different countries?
So I was born in America. I was born in LA, Pasadena, and then I just was raised there until I was 12. My dad's American, my mom's French. So I was raised there until I was 12. I went to a French school. I talked to my mom in French. But my dad an American, in English, I mean. And I moved to Paris when I was 12, and I've been living here ever since, except last year I went back to the US for a year. And it just doesn't correspond to me. So I came back for the summer and I decided to stay here for, I don't know for how long yet, but I'm staying in Paris, yeah. But okay. I did work in LA.
That's cool. Yeah, I imagine the plan.
It's been, it's very different. It's very different. I feel way more European than American now because I did all my teenage years here. In my high school and everything. So I just, my childhood was great, but I just prefer Paris and Europe.
And with that question as well, what made you pursue a career in acting?
Well, ever since I was little, I've always wanted to do that. I was always surrounded by artists. My mom was an actress when she was young. I did dance class. I did musicals when I was young. Even my school musicals, my kindergarten, my first grade school musical, I was Snow White, for example, and I started singing and acting on stage, and I loved it. And so my mom enrolled me into theater classes ever since I was small. And yeah, I just continued, and then I loved it, and I moved to Paris, and same thing here. I enrolled into theater classes. I got my agent here. And it's just been my dream. But after I still study on the side. I still do my studies on the side, and just because I want to study and just in case. But yeah, it's always been my little dream.
That's cool. And so we move into the acting side, and specifically Life is Strange. So when I spoke to Gabriella, she said she didn't audition for Life is Strange. There was no process because she worked on Beyond Two Souls with Quantic Dream, and someone recommended her through that. You, of course, also worked on Beyond Two Souls. I was wondering if it was the same process for you, that someone recommended you to Dontnod Entertainment to come into this project.
Yes. So I was cast for Quantic Dreams. I did a casting. I did a casting in English, and they got in. They chose me. And then yes, when Life is Strange asked me to audition, they said I was recommended from Beyond Two Souls because they were looking for an American who had already had prior experience in motion capture, and that's not very easy to find in Paris, especially if you're American. So yeah, I came in, and then I think they made me audition. They still made me audition, of course, because they wanted to see how I would feel the character and everything and how I was acting. I was definitely recommended.
Okay, and with that as well, when you came in, and then did they tell you that you'd be specifically playing Max in the audition?
Yeah, they were looking for a Max, and I corresponded in the height and in the look of what they were looking for. So yes, it was definitely for Max. I was not going for Chloe.
So in the actual motion capture segments, Gabriella mentioned that you guys both did lines whilst recording the motion capture. But were you surprised that your voice wasn't used for Max? And was this something that they told you whilst you were doing motion capture, that your voice might not be on Max at the end?
Well, at first they didn't tell us. We thought we were gonna be, really acting it out, and our voice was gonna be used. We thought that our voice was gonna be used, but I think they decided it maybe near the end or the middle of shooting, or I don't know. We just discovered it somehow, but I mean, I didn't take it personally or anything. They did that for everyone. But yeah, we didn't know at first, so we were very into it. We were learning everything by heart. I mean, as we should. But yeah, we were really acting it. I mean, it must be weird to. I mean, it is weird to see your character that you played with a different voice. It is kind of weird, but it's fun. It's fun.
Okay. And, before we dig into the motion capture side anyway, let's just stick with Max for a moment. Do you remember what the first time you saw what Max looked like? And what did you think of Max when you saw what she looked like as well?
I felt like she kind of looked like me. I mean, except with the short hair. But, she's brunette. She's petite. And I was like, I mean, I kind of felt close to her. Except in her character is a bit shy. Very shy, and I was very intrigued by that. But yeah, I felt like she looked like me, which was kind of, I mean, good,
I think from the experience I've heard from actors as well, that they have said that when they've been casted, they have tweaked the models around them, because I think it's a bit similar with Nick Schreiner on Nathan. He looks a little bit similar to him, so they might have done it after you were casted.
I mean, Chloe kind of looks like Gabrielle. I mean, well, Gabrielle kind of looks like Chloe in a sense, but now that I think about it, they casted her, and I've seen her in the motion capture as her, so obviously she's going to look like Chloe.
So we, obviously with Max as well, you're not doing the voice, but then we hear Hannah do the voice as well, and I imagine that you've heard her voice. What was your reaction? Did you expect the character to sound as innocent as she made her sound?
I mean, yeah, I did, because Max is so she's fierce but innocent, in a way. She's very, I mean, you learn that she's fierce after, and that she has, power to do stuff. But yeah, no, it does. I think she does a great job of impersonating Max, and I'm so happy with it. It was really like nice surprise. I was like, wow, this really
Amazing.
sounds like, Max.
By the way, Gabriella did speak very highly of you, and she did say that she was surprised that you could have been that kind of character just from your voice and everything, and obviously speaking to you very early. I think you could have done that voice well. Okay, so let's dig into the motion capture of this. So we fast forward from Beyond, and then you're reunited with Gabriella. And Gabriella said that you guys didn't specifically work that much together on Beyond, but this project is so much closer because you are Max and Chloe. What was the experience like to work with her specifically on this project and be much more closer on it?
Well, yes, we worked for Quantic Dream I think I just did like a few scenes in that one, or just a birthday scene. So just for a couple of days. But we still became, close. We still became friends. We weren't that close. And then I saw her on Life is Strange. I didn't really know it was going to be her. I think they told me like maybe a few days before the shooting. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. I have my friend. Like, it was nice to have someone that you're familiar with working with you, especially like in a whole new production, a whole new cast. And there was only just a few actors, like 4 or 5 actors that were there, or like 3, 4. I mean, depending on the days and the scenes. So it was really nice having her there. It just felt comforting. We'd talk about we had the same experience. So it was very, it was fun. I was so happy to have her.
I'm glad to hear that. She spoke very highly of you as well in our episode, so I'm glad to hear that that experience was shared. And obviously, whilst you're working on this and in motion capture, you get to work very closely with Raoul and Michel. What was your experience like working with them, and specifically in terms of bringing Max to life?
So, yes. Well, the first day I got there, the very first day of shooting, they explained me the whole persona of Max. And I had to really impersonate it. They were so nice. They were just very understanding, because I had to like learn the character. So, for example, I had to get her gestures and like her way of walking. they made me walk in circles for about maybe 20 minutes just to get the right way of how she was walking, kind of hunched, you know. It was just like, okay, cool, I'm like dizzy now, but like, or just like some gestures, like her turns or head turns, or when she was on the table or sitting down, it had to be kind of hunched and kind of timid. That's not how I really am normally. So yeah, they eased me into it, and you know, it was just natural at the end.
I'm glad to hear that, and that kind of answers my next question. But just to kind of talk about it, I feel like you don't get enough credit for Max in terms of like, you know, we all love Hannah's voice, but that body language that you brought to Max, I remember seeing it when she walked straight outside the school in the first scene, outside of the classroom, and you see the shy awkwardness of the character. Were you happy with how she came out when you watched like Max walk through a hallway? Did you feel like it perfectly captured the body language that you were doing for those scenes?
When I first saw her stance and her walk, I was quite happy with how it had been shown on. I mean, how I did it. It was very. I mean, they told me to act this timid girl, and I felt like this was exactly how she was supposed to be embodied. But yes, motion capture, all of her little gestures. It was just really weird to watch for me because I was like, oh my, I recognize how I stand. I recognize my hand. I recognize this little gesture. It was a nice discovery to see it on the screen. And I feel like Max, I feel like embodied her, you know, how I should have. And I'm happy about the result.
I'm glad to hear that. And with the motion capture, was it just Max that you did, or did you play other characters as well?
No, so for example, Victoria, Kate, you know, all the other little characters, the girl characters, we would do them too. Gabrielle and I, we would learn the text. We wouldn't share characters, but I remember that she did Victoria and I did one of the two other mean girls. I think I did Kate. You know, we wouldn't just interchange. And do a lot of other characters, not only Max and Chloe at all, and even the boy actors would play all the boy characters.
Right. Okay. Okay. I thought I'd just clear that up and just check to see how many how many guys did. So let's say you arrive for a motion capture shoot on a day there. Walk us through that. What's it like? Just the experience of being on a motion capture shoot for Life is Strange.
So I think we have to get there at 8 or around 8, I think, and start around 9. So we just have an hour to like get ready, get into our motion capture suits, get suited up, get the little markers on, get our caps, and just time to eat, to talk, to get through, you know, the whole day, explain to us what scenes we're doing, etc. Then we start around 9. And from 9 to maybe 12 or 1, we would just shoot. Then we'd have lunch. And then we try to get all the scenes together in the morning so that if we had finished all of them, one of the actors could leave early, you know, so they don't have to stay the whole day. And then we'd finish around 5:36, I think. Yeah. And we would do maybe 2-3 days of shooting every couple of months.
Okay. So was that like really draining for those long days of shooting?
There's a lot of eating. It wasn't that draining. It was just a lot of waiting because if she had to do one scene, I had to wait an hour and a half. So just there waiting, just eating. Also, there's one day we were shooting in winter in this very big, I don't know how to say this in English. This really big space, and it was so cold. It was horrible. They had to put blankets on us every time we got out of stage. Put blankets on us and beneath the. You know, the heaters, they had little heaters for us. We'd just be there like so cold. And then we had to shoot, but we were just shivering while we were shooting. That was terrible. But otherwise, it was fine. It was fine.
It's a very interesting experience. There's no doubt about that. And
Yeah.
with motion capture as well, what was your favorite scene to shoot in Life is Strange and why?
My favorite scene, my favorite scene to shoot was probably the ones with Chloe when we were just very close. Um, by the way, oh yeah, by the way, because I had fans, I was looking at YouTube videos and fans were just like, did they kiss on that scene? Did they kiss on that scene? And I'm sorry to disappoint, we did not kiss on that scene. The train track scenes. No, we didn't kiss. But we were just very close, you know, we made it seem. I think the ones that were the most natural for me, the easiest ones were just the ones with Chloe. It just felt very natural. I didn't feel like I was acting or anything, which was nice. It was nice. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because I didn't want to bring it up with Gabriella, but then she eventually brought it up, and then I spoke to her, and she did confirm that in her episode. But I'm glad that you just kind of came up because that genuinely has been asked a lot when people are like, did they kiss? Did they not kiss? And it's like, now I've got both sides of the confirmation there.
I don't think we got a response. I don't think they've gotten a response, but oh, sorry. I don't think they've gotten a response out of it too, because I don't know who would have responded to that. So I'm just gonna put it out there.
So with the motion capture as well, was there any moment that particularly stood out for you? Because like Gabriella told me about the scene where the guy who was playing Frank Bowers came at her and she charged across the studio floor because she was scared, because like she thought he was getting too much into the role. Was there any moment that was like that for you that stood out?
I actually remember that scene. I was there. Yeah, I was quite traumatized by that too. I have this scene that I kind of remember it. I mean, a lot is the one where I was bound in the chair by Jefferson near the end of the episode. That was quite scary because I literally felt like I was just bound and couldn't move. Like I really literally couldn't move because they had really tied me down. And yeah, that was quite the experience. Also, I think that's about it. I mean, that was the one that really marked me because I really felt held hostage, you know? And I was like, okay, can someone get me out? But yeah, that was the one.
Okay. So let's just delve into Life is Strange a little bit more. What did you make of the story when they told you about it or when you learned more details about just the overall story of it?
I found it fascinating, like really fascinating. I was so enthusiastic to play, to like have the end result and to play it and to be able to go back in time. I felt that was just genius. This was a genius idea. And I was so excited to like play Mac just for that because I was like, she can go back in time. This is so cool. And just the whole idea about how you can change what's going to happen next, you know, is just incredible. And yeah, it was really cool. I was like, when I wanted to play it, I wanted to play it. I was like, I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna have my script, and I'm gonna see what I can do to like save the city or save Max or save Chloe at the end. I was gonna do it with the script, but that didn't happen. But I was about to.
And, you know, sticking with Max for a moment as well, what was your favourite thing about Max? And is there anything that you wish that the developers had focused on more with the character, or were you happy with how she turned out?
I felt that she was very shy at first, very, you know, standoffish. I mean, not standoffish, but very not sure about herself. And I feel that she developed, you know, a lot during those 5 episodes. And she knew how to stand up for herself and she knew what she wanted. And I felt that they did that very well. I mean, the script was very well done for that. And I feel that I don't think anything was needed more. I mean, I just like the way that she developed and that she became more fierce and more confident in herself.
Okay. And you mentioned it before, but like, you know, 5 years have passed now. Did you have the chance to sit down and play the game or watch through it all?
I did play the game with my friend. My friend had it, and my friend already had it actually and had played it, and I didn't know about it. And I saw it at his house and I was like, you know, I'm Max. And he's like, what? Are you kidding me? I love this game. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah. And basically I played it again with him. I mean, he had played it, but I played it by myself. And it was great. I didn't have the scripts in front of me, but I would have loved to because I didn't really remember what my actions were gonna do in the future. But it was very strange. I mean, yeah, it was very strange, but it was very cool.
It must be a good moment to get that reaction from him, where like, I'm in this game, and like, hang on a minute, like.
It's like, oh my god, this move! I remember doing this, and I would tell him little anecdotes of like the scene. Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And you mentioned it before, so this is the big question I have to ask it, because I asked Gabrielle the same question. Now it's on Serena. Does Serena save Arcadia Bay, or does she save Chloe, and why?
I think I would save Chloe. I think I would save Chloe because Chloe and I had such a strong bond. She's my best friend. I don't think I would be able to leave her. Even about thinking about it now, like, no, I would save Chloe, definitely.
Okay.
There's nothing to.
But I'm all team Chloe. Like, when I played the game, I killed off the town. I was like, see you later, goodbye. I had no regret about that. Right, so we've got your answer now on that question, and there's a bigger question I have to ask you, and you'll know it yourself. The diner scene. Max sits down. What does she order? Belgian waffle or bacon omelette? Which does Serena get?
The Belgian waffles. Oh yeah, there's no hesitation. I don't like bacon anyway, so waffles all the way. I love waffles. So yeah.
Okay, right, cool. IMDb has kind of ruined this because they said that you were involved in Life is Strange 2, which you obviously aren't, as you told me before we started this. But, was there any contact from Dontnod to come back and do Life is Strange 2, or did they approach you about it? Because there are female characters in Life is Strange 2.
So they told me that there was going to be Life is Strange 2, but they weren't sure if I was going to correspond to any of the characters in it. So I was like, okay, no problem. I mean, it was way more about Chloe. So I was like, no problem. But they were looking for a character that I could do, and they didn't find any. But whatever. It's okay. It's life. It happens, and I'm glad I did Life is Strange 1 anyway. But yeah.
Okay. And just in that as well, so like, you've done Beyond, you've done Life is Strange, and you've said specifically they looked for certain actors to do certain roles. Is that been the experience in both projects, the Quantic Dream game and the Life is Strange game, that they look for specifically for certain things in the actors to do motion capture?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but I know that Quantic Dream was I had markers on my face, so you could see my face, I guess, more, it was really my face and my voice that they took. So I don't know especially what they were looking for on Quantic Dream, but I guess I corresponded to that. But I guess you just need someone who, motion capture is, you have to be a bit more violent with your movements, they're not going to see everything, so you have to kind of act a bit more. When you move and stuff, because like the gestures that you do are just, are not as vivid on when you do motion capture as they are on on cameras. So you just have to overact, I guess, a little bit with your body, but not with your face specifically, not with your face, because they captured really well the face on Quantic Dream. I remember that.
Yeah. What? And with that as well, obviously you wear the full bodysuit. What's the worst thing about wearing the bodysuit?
Going to the bathroom.
I believe, off the top of my head, Gabrielle said the exact same thing on Reddit AMA when I was digging through it. She said that was like the worst thing about wearing a motion capture suit.
And the hair. You have to put your hair up in a ponytail and then have this very ugly little cap that they put on you. It was just the worst. We wanted to touch our hair. We would always take the cap off at some point, like for lunch breaks and stuff. Yeah, that was the worst. The bathroom one was the worst. So annoying.
So with that as well, you were very young when you broke into the industry, when you landed a role in Quantic Dreams, Beyond Two Souls, and you had the opportunity to work with David Cage on that game, I imagine. What was your experience like working with him? I know he's a very Marmite figure. Some people love him, some people hate him, but I know some people hold him in high regards as like a visionary. But what was your personal experience working with him as a motion capture actor?
He was I was very young. I was around 16. He was very, very nice, very comprehensive. If I had to redo a scene, he was like, "Oh yes, like no problem whatsoever." He did direct well. He would tell us exactly what he wanted, so we knew exactly what we were doing. It was a very nice experience that I had with him. I hold him in a high regards as well. Yes.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm a big fan of David Cage and I like his games as well. And sticking with Beyond for a moment as well, you played Jen in that game, and we all remember that scene where Jodie wreaks havoc on the house. That must have been a fun sequence to film in motion capture.
That was a long day. Yes, it was. Yes, we didn't play with Ellen Page. It was just another actor, but we didn't have her face in it. But anyway, that actor, we were carrying her around. The poor girl was just, held from the arms to the legs, just like dragged on the floor. It was pretty fun. I'm just worried. I was just worried for that girl because I was like, the poor girl's getting beat up. But yeah, it was fun. There's a lot of young people around. We were just all getting along very well. Yeah, it was a nice scene. We were just all super afraid, like going crazy. It was fun. I like
glad to hear that. And as I said, like you were young when you got into this industry, and I know a lot of people who've played Life is Strange have like really wanted to get into voice acting, have wanted to become an actor, and you've had experience of being an actor in terms of the games that you've worked in, other projects. Like, what kind of advice would you give like an actor that's coming up and being like, I want to go into not even necessarily games or movies? Like, what kind of advice would you pass on to them if they asked you about it?
I would tell them to just, if you want to get an agent, don't be shy. Go see them. Go talk to them. Be open about what you want. No one's going to come get you if you stay at home, I think you should really go out there, see people in person. And, you can send your CVs, you can send your videos online, but the best thing to do is go and see them. They'll see that you have confidence in yourself and that you really know what you want.
Okay. And as well, like talking about your experience, you've worked on other projects since Life is Strange. And I just wanted to know what your future plans are. Have you applied for more stuff in gaming, in motion capture? What's kind of like the main career path from this point onwards?
So I have done like small gigs in other little video games, but I really kind of, when I went to the United States, I had my studies. I kind of just took a break from acting, I guess, because my agent was here. I went to the US. It was kind of complicated. I would send her videos, but not all the time. And then I came back now, and I'm ready to do it again. I have a few castings, and we'll see what the future holds, I guess, this year. I don't know. I've done just 2 castings now in the last few months, but we'll see.
Well, I hope we see you more gaming stuff as well, especially after the pandemic's done and everything else, and when life gets back to normal a little bit.
I love it. I would love to.
Okay, so this is one of my staple questions I have in the series. So there are plans for a Life is Strange TV show, and whilst I naturally assume you'd like to play Max in this TV show, you're not allowed to on my show. And I'm going to put you in the role of the casting director. Who would you want to cast to play Max in the TV show, and why?
I was thinking about this question, and one of the girls I really see would suit well for Max is Lily Rose Depp for some reason, because I just feel like she's very delicate, very, very Max, very delicate, very petite, but she has a strong side to her, so I feel like she corresponds really well to Max.
Okay, very good choice as well, no doubt about that. And so we're at the end of the show. I let my guests normally close out and send a message to Life is Strange fans about their experience and just generally, one message that they send. So I'll let you take it from here.
Hi, Life is Strange fans. I'm just very happy that I was part of a video game that you love, and I hope that Max inspired you, and I hope that maybe one day you'll be playing one of my characters again, maybe, and I just hope that everything will continue the way it is, and that you're gonna be surprised with maybe another season. Why not? Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for the wonderful message. And thank you everyone for watching. That is today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do enjoy the video, please subscribe, like, comment below. It really does help with the channel. Serena, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. I've got the full set complete for the series now. Max, voice actor and actor. So I'm really glad about that. And thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.